Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. And, there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what can I do, Jason? You never offer any solutions. And unfortunately, there are so many people out there that are looking for some kind of superhero, and they can't even see the evil that they can really make a difference in right in front of their face. And we highlight human trafficking and child abuse on this channel because in its essence, it is a high-level affair in many cases, but the system is set up so that even those on a lower level that get caught are treated with kid gloves. In other words, they don't do anywhere near the amount of time that they should, and in most cases, especially in the severe ones, these people need to spend life in prison. I believe in a humane way to deal with this. If you're pro-death penalty, of course, all these people, they don't want to pay the taxes. Look, I don't want you near children, period. You do this kind of stuff, I don't want you near kids. And we're going to go over not only this story of somebody who tried to solicit a quote-unquote child prostitute. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. Let me make that very, very clear. All right, right away, I hate that terminology. But this guy's a school counselor at a middle school, Glasgow Middle School in Fairfax County, Virginia, okay? And they know that he's been convicted, and he's still on the payroll. And it gets brought up to the upper echelon, and kudos to them. They're now doing an independent investigation and got rid of the guy. But just the fact the guy's not in jail and these people put themselves in positions where they can be around kids and exploit them is abhorrent. It's abhorrent. And again, the system is set up so that even when these people get caught, what happens? Barely anything. And I'm going to go through a bunch of stories. I'm going to show you a Twitter feed that really is a must watch. Like, if you're not watching this one, I don't know what to tell you, but Dalton Report does great work on this. And this is a guy who worked at an Army depot, okay, and abused children over a 33-year period. Let me repeat this. They do not stop. They don't stop. So you want a solution. You want to do better. Number one, okay, make sure your house is in order. Make sure you're spending as much time with your kids as humanly possible. Make sure that if they're ever in a position where they would be taken advantage of or something like this would happen, they would talk to you about it immediately, and hopefully have the ingenuity to get out of that situation. So that's number one. But number two, I was a kid that was around, kids who had more than me. And in at least two of these cases, their parents of friends really made a difference in my life. You can mentor somebody else. Now, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a friend of your son or daughter. It could be somebody that ends up working for you in your business, that you're the manager of, etc. Just kind of keeping an eye on them and guiding them in the right way. I know I was given opportunities and insights from both, I'll just say their last names, the Duffys and the Darkangelis family, a lot in my life. A lot. And they made a huge impact on where my life is, from being independent, working for myself, questioning authority, being artistic, but at the same time hardworking. There was a lot of a dichotomy between those two families, but those dads and moms really mentored me as a kid. So those are solutions, okay? And God forbid that you get in a situation where something like this has happened. Well, you need to go to the authorities immediately, all right? But again, are our schools safe? Absolutely not. We broke that UN story again where it's just, sexualized, drag queens in the hallway, sustainability propaganda on top of it, all these nonsense charts with a elemental PO of a list. So, let's get into it. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. I do want to remind everybody over on YouTube that Rockfin, Rumble, that's where you're going to find my uncensored stuff. We've been demonetized for, 3+ years here now. The Buy Me a Coffee, a link is down there. Let's start with the main story, okay? And I just want to reemphasize that this person was in the school system after being caught.
A new at 11 o'clock, alarming revelations at a Fairfax County middle school. That's where a school counselor was still found working after being convicted of a child sex crime. 7 News obtained this letter that was sent out by FCPS superintendent. She says that the counselor at the Glasgow Middle School was still on the payroll despite being convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor. The conviction occurred outside of Fairfax County. The board says as soon as they were made aware, they took immediate steps to fire him, and they're also asking the state to revoke his license. The superintendent also said, quote, "I want to make this very clear. This entire situation is unacceptable from any perspective. We are deeply concerned about how this happened in one of our schools," end quote.
Again, the correct response. But how did this happen? I mean, there is no excuse for this. And again, you should be deeply disturbed. Now, once again, I want to emphasize these people do not stop. So let's play this clip right here.
A former employee at the Tooele Army Depot is behind bars, accused of 33 counts of sex crimes involving 3 children over 3 decades.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with officials there at the depot and a criminal defense attorney about the charges the man now faces.
As someone who represents many people accused of sex crimes, this is one of the worst I've ever seen.
This is Jesse Nix, a local criminal defense attorney, talking about Jamison Smith, a former employee at the Tooele Army Depot, who was arrested back in March. Smith was booked into jail on 33 felony charges regarding sex crimes, including rape and sodomy, against 3 different child victims. Fox 13 News reached out to the Tooele Army Depot Tuesday afternoon, and they confirmed that Smith worked there as the safety chief at the time of his arrest.
And let me just say this. If you think that these were his only 3 victims, you're fooling yourself. I think it was from 88 to 2022.
They went on to say the Army takes allegations against employees seriously.
Read this probable cause statement, and what really jumps out at me is the number of times that these alleged victims were abused. You know, this isn't a one-time thing.
That 15-page probable cause statement goes into graphic nature about the abuse the victims described beginning in 1988. One victim says they were 12 to 13 years old at the time, and they were always alone when the abuse happened, and that it happened often over the 2 years, ending in 1990. Another victim, from 1991 to 1995, when they were 8 to 12 years old, says they were abused weekly by Smith, adding Smith abused them in the basement when everyone was upstairs, when everyone was asleep, or her parents were not home. The last victim details abuse that took place over a 9-year period, from 2012 through 2021. In the probable cause statement, they say Smith came up with a system he called Plus One, in which if she did a favor for him, he would do a favor for her. In April of 2021, it says that victim was sent a threatening email by Smith that he knew where she was and he would come and get her if she let anyone know about the abuse that had taken place.
What is interesting about this case is that the victims were very clear on when the allegation occurred, where they were. And so that's why you have so many charges.
It is the number of charges, including 16 first-degree felonies, that Nick says come with some pretty serious consequences if Smith is found guilty.
It's 25 years to life. And the judge could stack them, meaning that the defendant could serve consecutive sentences.
According to a charging document, Smith pleaded not guilty to all 33 felony charges. A motion hearing is now scheduled for September 13th.
So once again, I want to reiterate, they don't stop, okay? So this is the Dalton Report. This is where I got a lot of these stories here, and we're just going to down the line. Former UMC pastor in Wisconsin convicted on child you-know-what charges. Yes. Take a look. All right? Punishable up to 25 years in prison. Again, these people need to go away forever. They don't stop. Circle of Hope hit with sex trafficking lawsuit. Kate Burkett, she's done some really great work with the Epstein case and others. And you read through this, and I just want to make everybody understand all those people that think it's, Democrats and adrenochrome, this a right wing op over here, okay? And, they broke these kids down with physical abuse, kind of Army style, and then it gets worse from there. And, the spouse is involved, okay? Missouri Circle of Hope Ranch. I'll let you read the details of that one. But once again, you have these situations where kids are being trafficked through the system, through like foster care and those types of parents, and these things are set up, and they're abusing young girls too. That's why we get into some of the charitable stuff that Epstein was doing. Remember, Epstein had that cabin. He was involved in charities with Elton John. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Okay? Now, the modeling industry. Top Israeli modeling agent accused of sexual abuse arrested in Amsterdam. Oh, another modeling agent accused of sexual abuse? So far, at least 26 cases of sexual harassment. I'm sure it's not going to be worse for Shai Avital. People, look in to not only Jean-Luc Brunel, obviously Ghislaine Maxwell, and people like Epstein, Nygaard, right? But Claude Hadid, this man, Les Wexner. So another, modeling agent. Wow, I'm shocked. Shocked and amazed. And I think that's it. I think that's it what we had. I was trying to check out the Alex Jones show. It looks like it wasn't on. But this is the guy at the original story. This is the person who's a counselor at a middle school. Gets caught up in this sting. And you look at this. Solicitation of a minor 16, 17. He's out trying to troll for 16-year-old girls to abuse them. And yet, he's somehow still in the school system. Folks, if you like the videos, thumbs them up, subscribe, share. Remember, I am a documentary filmmaker. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now, in the playlist section or pinned to the top. You can buy me a coffee, $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. We want to thank Odyssey for backing up my entire YouTube channel if eventually I'm taken off. We are rumbling. Remember, we have that exclusive United Nations story, and you can check out my occultist transhumanism virtual nightmare exposed expose and presentation over at the Reawaken America tour. We are on the Podbean and Rockfin, 61,000 strong, $99 a month or $99.99 for the year. Remember, we give it all away, so please consider supporting us there. And, of course, we're still here at YouTube by the skin of our nutskis and hutch. Guys, obviously, this issue is a human issue. And, again, you want a solution to this issue, take part. Take part. Don't be docile. I'm not saying you're Superman. You can be a vigilante. You can stop everything and stop all the evils in the world. But you would be amazed how much just a little intervention into somebody's life that you can change that life and make it a better one. So I love you guys. It's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. And we will see you on the flip side.